Hi everyone, it's Tamara here from La La Land Crafts with another card making tutorial, this week using the gorgeous stamp set Soy Happy for you. I'll be doing some Copic colouring of the images and then I'll be making a fun gatefold card. So let's get started with some colouring. of 380 GSM black cardstock, and I'll be cutting my base to 8.5 inches by 6 inches, and I'll have all the measurements in the description box below. I've just grabbed out my scoring tool, and I'm just going to do it at 2 1/8 and then just turn it around and do it at 2 1/8 again. I've grabbed my bone folder and we'll give that a nice burnish on both sides, and we've got a perfect gatefold card. Now I've grabbed out some red and white pattern paper from the Colour Me Happy paper pack, and I'm just going to be cutting this down for both the gatefold panels and also for the inside. Now the measurements for the gatefolds are 5 3/4 by 2 inches, so you'll need 2 of those for either side. And then the inside pattern paper is 4 inches by 5 3/4 inches. So we'll just get that final piece of pattern paper used. So I had to use 2 sheets to make this card. And I just wanted to add a little bit of kind of dimension to the pattern paper. So I've just grabbed out some black soot and my domed sponge applicators. I'm just putting a light amount around the edges of my pattern paper. So I'll set that aside to dry, and then we'll attach that to our card front. So I'm just working in circular motions, just patting off any excess ink onto my glass mat, and just using that to make sure I only put a small amount of that ink around the edges. So now that that has dried, I'll get those attached to the front sides of the gatefold, and then we'll attach the inserted one into the middle. Now you'll see that I do get a little bit of glue around the edges of this, and I'll show you. I've got an actual rubber tool that actually removes any sticky residue that might get onto your cardstock. I find I've used it a lot, and it just saves having that shiny kind of look of excess glue on your card front. So this one went on a lot better than the other one. I think I put a little bit too much glue on the other one, so just be mindful when you're putting that on. And this is the rubber that I was talking to you about, so you just rub that gently over where any glue may have seeped out, and that removes that gluey residue. Now we had this leftover piece of cardstock from our card base when we cut it out from our cardstock, so it worked really well because I wanted it to be 2 inches and this was the perfect size. And then we just want to cut it a little bit bigger than the card base to allow it room to go around the edges of the card. So we want to make it 8 11/16. Again, I'll have all the measurements in the description box below. So I'm just going to score it at 2 inches for the first fold, and then I just grabbed the card base and just popped it there, and you just want it a little bit wider than what the card base is, just to allow that room for it to move. So I'll grab out my bone folder, and we'll get those score marks nice and burnished. So you want to make sure that that is good and scored there. And we'll just test it out and make sure we've got the right size, and that looks like it will work perfectly for our belly band. Now to cover up our join of our belly band, I'm just going to be using the double stitch oval dies, so one with the largest and then the second largest. So the largest I'm doing in red and the second largest in white. I'm now just using my pencil to mark where I'm going to place the glue to attach it to the belly band, because you don't want it obviously over either side of where the belly band is. So I've just put the glue in the marked area, pop that onto the belly band, and that worked out perfectly. Then I'll just attach the second largest one in the white on the front of our red oval. So I'm just going to again just test that out now that that's dry, and just make sure that that's sliding nicely on, which it is. So I'm kind of using a double-sided sentiment. So I've stamped out part of the sentiment, and for the main portion I've just done some letter dies. So I'm making out soy, and I'm stacking them 3 high per letter. So I'll just show you me attaching the first S, and obviously I've done that for each of the other letters as well. Now for the rest of the sentiment, I'm just using this banner die to cut that out. Now I wanted to make some chopsticks, and I had found in my stash this milkshake die, and you can use the straw that comes with it to make our chopsticks. And you could also use the cream to make some wasabi if you wanted as well, but I'm just using the straw, and I'm cutting that out of gold glitter cardstock to make my 2 chopsticks. So they worked out perfectly, and I think they work really well with this card. Now I've placed out where I want everything on my belly band, and I always start with the inside letter first, and that way you can space out the other 2. You can see the lid of my glue rolling around my desk there. So I've attached the O, and then we'll just attach the S and the Y, just kind of shaping it around that oval die. And so we'll touch our Y now. I'm just using my tweezers just to hold that, and just helps you kind of place that. So just make sure that's evenly spaced, and we'll get the rest of our elements attached. So we'll get the rest of the sentiment popped down to the side, just kind of hanging partially over both the ovals and the belly band. And I'm just going to prop our little guinea pig with his sushi up with some foam tape. So we'll get that attached to the front, just kind of partially over that banner die, and just kind of centered in the middle of our ovals. We'll now get our chopsticks placed down. I'm just gluing them directly to the card. Now I'm kind of partially putting them over the sentiment, and then I just want to cross them over each other. So I put it down first, and I'm wanting them more crossed at the bottom. Now sometimes with the glitter cardstock it doesn't stick very well, so I've just wiped off any glue that might have got on my card and put some more glue onto that chopstick, and just placing it over, crossing over just at the base. Now we'll just glue our matching pattern paper to the inside of our gatefold card. It's always nice to have the matching paper inside that you have on the outside. I've got that stuck down. Now you can write to your recipient on that pattern paper, but I just wanted to put some white cardstock pieces on the inside in case you want to just use that to write anything to your recipient. So we'll get those glued down both sides. Now for the internal sentiment, I've just stamped that out already, and I'm just using my rounded stitched rectangle dies to just cut that sentiment out. So I'm just going to place where we want everything inside our card, and we'll get that all attached down with glue. I do like using glue for the inside of the gatefold card rather than using foam tape, because if you put too much dimension in there, it can make it very hard to slide the belly band over it, as it just gets a bit too bulky. So gluing down is the best. So just center that sentiment. Now you can put the steamer either below or above. I'm just popping it below because I thought it's nice and close to that dim sim sentiment. So we've got that all stuck down. I also cut out some more chopsticks with our straw from our milkshake die, just to make the inside match the outside with the chopsticks. Again, I'm just crossing them over at the bottom so that they're kind of matching into the front as well. So just kind of make sure it's kind of narrow, because otherwise it can look a little bit odd. And we'll just get those chopsticks added to the steamer. Now to match the gold glitter cardstock on the front, I decided just to cut out some star dies from the small star dies set. And I just thought that will kind of tie in really nicely with that spot of gold on the front, and also just going to bring your eye to all the images inside the gatefold card. So we'll get them all stuck down, and then I'll also add a couple of these kind of glitter cardstock stars to the front of the card as well, and that way that will tie in nicely with the stars inside. And just fills that gap in down the bottom a little bit on our belly band. And this is a finished card project for this week. As you can see, I've actually changed out the black soot pattern paper to just plain pattern paper on the front. I just thought it looked a lot cleaner. I think it still works really well inside with that one with the black soot. And these images are just so gorgeous, and they were so fun to color up. And I love that bit of gold bling that we get from the stars and the chopsticks. And I think anyone that receives a card like this would be so happy. Sorry for the pun. I hope you've enjoyed this card making tutorial. If you have, please hit the like button and leave a comment. And if you'd like to see any future videos, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye.